What's going on, guys? This is Damien from The Lookout, and I'm here with even more Fusion World spoilers. Final Flash got revealed, we got a better taste of the direction for green, and we got some awesome yellow cards as well. So guys, before we begin this video, huge shout out to the Coffee Club, our lovely patrons. These are our $2 and up patrons. They buy us coffee, they keep this crazy machine going. And guys, thank you a lot for your support. If you wish to join the Coffee Club, it's only $2. Link to our Patreon is in the description below. And yeah, I think that's about everything. Roll the video! As with all of our videos, let's start with the breakdown. So what do we have for you today? We got a new batch of spoilers. We got some yellow spoilers, and Frieza continues being absurd. Frieza is just insane. Broly got some crazy stuff. It got a more clear direction in its aggro, and it got its first ramp payoff, so that's super exciting to check out. Final Flash got revealed, and it's setting a standard for some other cards. You will see when we get there. And finally, we'll just wrap it up with a summary. Let's go! Let's start with the card on the thumbnail, Final Flash. Final Flash got revealed, and it is our first piece of hard removal. Yeah, every deck I believe is gonna have one hard removal card, and this is the blue one. Let's go over the translation. It costs 2 energy, one of which needs to be blue. Permanent. If you have 7 or less cards in your hand, reduce the energy cost of this card by 1 blue energy. So it's just 1 energy, of any color. We don't know if you can have multicolors, but it's 1 energy. For Activate Main, discard 1 from your hand, so you're keeping up that below 7 consistency with it. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and place it at the bottom of its owner's deck. This is huge, because if we take a look at the Goku Boss Monster, it costs 5, right? So we can assume that the Boss Monster cost standard is around 5. And because this looks at like 5 or less, it can basically remove anything. For 1 energy, it removes so far, it hits everything in the game. So far, from what we have seen. It's an absurd card. It's definitely an absurd card. The minus is that you're losing 2 in hand. Cause first off, you have to have at least 7, so when you play it you have 6, you discard 1, you have 5, you go down to 5 cards in hand. Hopefully you get some way of building your hand back up. And like I've said, other decks will have similar cards. We know that red is gonna have one like this, and I'm guessing the other ones will have one like this as well. Let's segue into green with our first critical attacker. Yes guys, this is our first look at the critical keyword. For all of you completely new to Dragon Ball card games, critical does the following. When you deal damage to your opponent, they place a life into their drop instead of placing it into their hand. So you're basically permanently taking away 1 card from their hand. This can potentially be very scary because in Fusion World, unlike in Masters, you don't have counters, you can't negate the attack, you can't stop it. The only way to stop it is if you have a blocker. So on turn 2, when you swing 15k critical at your opponent, this card is deceptively strong. When you swing 15k crit, you're basically forcing them to either waste a card from their hand trying to out-combo you, or take critical damage and lose 1 life. It's cool. It's very cool. It's basically 15k discard 1, because you're forcing them to either spend 1 from hand or just stagnate in hand size. Pretty cool. Then we have our first look at what Tor Ring is gonna look like in this game. So we have this green guy here. He's a 1 cost 5k, and he does the following. On play, look at top 5 cards of your deck and add up to 1 Paragus or 1 extra card, which can be huge because Broly's extra card ramps him, and the other one is probably a removal, from among them to your hand, and then you put the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck in a random order. This means that there is no shuffling in Fusion World. So far, it looks like there is no shuffling in this game, unlike Masters, where you shuffle non-stop. I know that there's no shuffling in other Bandai games, but for Dragon Ball this is the first time. This rule could be huge for future combo decks, which will need a specific card. We had, in Masters, we had Gogeta Exodia, which digs for your secret rare, and every card that tutors is specifically a card that puts cards to the bottom of your deck so that you can just keep digging for it, so that you don't accidentally shuffle it away. So for future combo decks, this might be huge. This might be huge. We will see how it turns out, but so far it's a pretty good card because Paragos is your turn 2 play. It costs 2 energy and it gets you a blocker, or you can get your extra card which ramps you, or maybe there's a removal. We will see soon enough. Finally, let's take a look at our first ramp payoff card. We have this Vegeta here, free energy 20k critical. So worst case, free energy 20k critical, which is pretty bad if you ask me. Then it has permanent. If you have 6 or more energy, this card gets plus 5k power, so he's 25k crit for free energy, which looks much better. Overall, I think it's a decent payoff card. I'm not sure how good free energy for 25k crit really is until we see more payoffs for other decks. Free energy for 20k crit looks a bit bad. It looks a bit bad, but when it gets plus 5k, then it's better. We need to put it into in a context where Broly ramps a lot, so maybe that makes it a bit better. We can get this permanent going by turn 4, basically. There is a way to get it going by turn 4. I'll show you when I do starter deck breakdowns, hopefully in 2 weeks. And getting this guy online on turn 4 is much better. It's basically much better when you can do it like that. So overall, it's a decent payoff card. Last but not the least, let's take a look at some extra blue and green cards. These ones don't need a slide for themselves. They're pretty self-explanatory. Bulma is 1 energy 5k blocker, and King Vegeta is a super combo. So yeah, that's it. Let's move on to yellow. The last card with its own slide is the new Frieza. So the second form of Frieza is here, and it's a pretty good card, guys. 2 cost 20k. Just to put this into perspective, the Vegeta ramp payoff is 3 cost 20k with crit, and then it can become 25 after turn 4. This one is 20k for 2. Just kinda goes to show how little 20k for free actually is. What does it do? Well, on attack, you add 1 card from your life to your hand, and you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. Insane. Once again, insane card. This is another blocker denial in Frieza. So if your opponent, let's say you play something turn 1, they play a blocker on their turn 1, you put down 1 energy, pay 2 to play Frieza, you attack 20, grab a life so that you can awaken faster, you immediately switch their blocker to rest mode so they can't block anymore, and you're just going 20k at them. Yeah, that's how good this card is. It's really, really good. This card will also help you awaken really fast, allowing you to get that sweet restand ability very early in the game. For those of you coming here from Masters, you know how important it is to awaken fast. So having a self-awakener, which is 20k, and also a blocker denial at the same time, is just crazy. Yeah, Frieza is absurd. Last but not the least, we have these free cards. Sorbet, 1 energy, draw a card 5k. Shin is the red super combo, and then we have a Skillless Piccolo. So free energy 25k. So this guy, even without crit, without anything, is 25 for free energy. Okay, Broly offsets that by ramping, but still, it's a bit silly. Like, yeah. But anyway, those were all of the cards for today. Before we end the video, let's quickly jump into the summary. The direction for each starter deck is slowly getting fleshed out, which is exciting. We have seen our first removal piece for Vegeta. We have seen that green appears to be ramp plus critical attacks. So far, it has both ramp elements, of course, because that's what the deck does, and it has critical attackers, which is amazing. Yellow is still looking like the best deck. Yellow is just blocker, denial, and big guys. Now we have an idea, because of Final Flash, we have an idea of what removal cards will look like, which is conditional discount plus removal. We know what the red one does. I'll show it hopefully on Friday if they reveal an HD spoiler with the newest version of the artwork, but it's also conditional discount plus removal, so we can assume that all of these will be like that. Hopefully we'll get to see some boss monsters next. Hopefully we get to see some boss monsters. I'm very excited for those cards, guys. We'll have our next Fusion World video in 2 days. Maybe something amazing gets revealed by then. That's it for the video. Let me know in the comments below. How do you like the reveals so far? Like, we have Final Flash. I like Final Flash. I think the card is absurd because it can hit so far everything. Maybe we will have like some higher cost cards, but it hits a lot for a single energy. What do you think of the direction for green and for yellow? I think yellow is just gonna be broken. The tradition of masters continues into Fusion World, and I'm super hyped for green. I'm liking the Broly deck more and more. I love ramping, and it looks pretty sweet. I think that Vegeta is just gonna turn out better, that I didn't give it enough credit. We will see once the decks are out. And guys, please let me know in the comments below, what are your opinions on all of this? I read all of your comments, I try to respond to everything, I love our little community. And while you're here, hit those like and subscribe videos, help us get to 4,000 subs when I'm gonna give away a booster box. This has been Damien from The Lookout, and I'll see all of you in the next video.